Hey guys, MJ here from Nitecore Gear. Now, do you have trouble finding a power bank that can charge multiple laptops on the go? Something that is airplane safe, can power 2 laptops, tablets, phones, camera batteries, video lights even. Right, something that has a display so that you know exactly what's going on, looks clean and minimalist as well, so it works in a professional setting without attracting too much attention. I've struggled with this as well, having gone through Nitecore power banks which didn't have enough output to sustain 2 laptops. Then the Shargeek power banks here, which could charge everything I needed but attracted the wrong attention when going through TSA because it looks like some kind of a dangerous device. The clear body also forced me to be extra careful not to scratch it. That could be a problem depending on how careless of a user you are. If you don't mind scratches on your gear, then this one's fine. After much hunting around, I found another brand called cuktech, which recently launched their new line of high wattage power banks. That doesn't look like they're going to explode, right? They look professional and have the most beautiful display I've ever seen on a power bank. Now, cuktech is not a random OEM brand that popped up out of nowhere. They've been manufacturing power banks for the biggest brands like LG, Hitachi, Xiaomi since 2016. So they know how to make a power bank and have access to the best tech and batteries available. In fact, the batteries they use in these are automotive grade batteries, the same series as the ones they use in Tesla and other EV vehicles. So even after 500 recharge cycles, it holds its capacity at over 80%, and that's a good 6 years if you charge and discharge once every 5 days. That's pretty incredible if you ask me. Today we're going to look at the new cuktech 20 or P23 and cuktech 15 or PB200P. Right, the different websites show different models, but they refer to the same thing. So I'll show you how it stacks up against other power banks like the Shargeek and the Nitecore, and a few key design features that makes these the 2 excellent picks as power banks for high demands on the go. Before we begin, if you want to win this latest P23, make sure you subscribe to this channel and comment below on what you are currently using to charge your gear and what you love or hate about them. Once we hit 500 likes, I'll pick one winner and announce them in the description box below. So let's get started with the 2 most important things you need to know when looking at power banks to charge heavy draw devices like laptops. The first is output in watts, and second, rated capacity. Output in watts you can find everywhere on boxes and on the power bank itself. This P23 has a 210 watt output. This Shargeek here has a 170 watt output. This Carbo20k has a 20 watt output. Now, the minimum required to charge a laptop is anywhere from 30 watts to 96 watts, depending on the model. So immediately, the Nitecore's Carbo20k cannot be used. It might have the same price as the Shargeek 170 and have almost the same capacity at 20,000 mAh, but the output is just not high enough. So if you want to charge laptops, output in watts is what you need to look out for. If you want to charge 2 laptops at once, the next thing you need to look out for is output of each individual port. The P23 says 210 output. Does it mean it can charge your laptop at 210 watts? No. This number is usually the combined output when all 3 ports are plugged in. So most advertisers try to hide behind one big number and make it sound impressive, but now you know better. So look at these charts before you buy so you don't get cheated into buying something that doesn't work for you. You can find these charts usually on the instruction manuals or tech specs. For the P23, if you plug in all 3 ports at a time, the max it can output is 45 each from the 2 USB-C ports and 30 watts from the USB-A port. So that is far from the advertised 210 watts, isn't it? It's the same for the Shargeek 170 as well. If we plug in all 3 ports at the same time, the max it can output is 65 watts each from the 2 USB-C ports and 18 watts from the USB-A port. If we plug in just 2 ports, the output becomes 100 watts and 65 watts respectively. On the P23, it becomes 45 watts and 45 watts. It's much lower. Interesting, isn't it? So for myself and those that want to charge 2 laptops at a time, that's a deal breaker right there. I might pick the Shargeek 170 over the P23 if my only focus is on charging speed, okay? Because this is faster. If we only plug in 1 port, the main port of each, the max charging goes to 140 watts, same for both P23 and Shargeek 170. Now at 140 watts, that's the same as the original charger that comes with the latest top-of-the-line MacBook Pro M3. So imagine that just a few years ago, this wasn't even possible. Now I did say main port, because only 1 port of each of these power banks can hit 140 watts. If you plug it into the second USB-C port of this P23, you only get 45 watt charging, even though you only plug in 1 device. The Shargeek 170, however, doesn't have that problem. both their USB-C ports can max out at 140 watts, so there's no worry there. So now back to the second most important bit, rated capacity. On every box of every power bank, you'll see the advertised capacity, but if you dig deeper, you'll find a rated capacity that is always lower than advertised. Right, on the P23, you will see 25,000 milliampere capacity, but it's rated for just 13,500. Why? Right, where did the other 11,500 milliampere go? It gets lost in heat and circuit resistance because the conversion process from energy stored in the battery through the circuits, through the ports and cables to whatever you're charging is not 100% efficient. Energy does get lost along the way. That's why rated capacity is provided to give you a more accurate representation of how much charge the power bank can actually deliver to a device. But the problem is most makers won't display this on the box. What they always show is what the power bank can hold, which is not wrong, right? Both are factual. So if you look at something like this Momax MagSafe power bank here, it's advertised as 10,000 milliampere, but the actual rated capacity down here is just 5,800 milliampere, almost half of what is advertised. Right, so that's why it's important when looking at something to power your laptop to go for the highest rated capacity possible. The P23 at 13,500 rated capacity can charge a MacBook Pro, which has a battery size of about 6,000 milliampere, around 2 times over when it's not in use. Right, so through my own testing, it does drain the battery quickly if you are doing intensive tasks on your laptop. So that's something to keep in mind. Now that you know the two most important bits, output, wattage and rated capacity, let's dive into my favorite part of this power bank, which is the 1.5-inch TFT color display. Right, so this shows you all kinds of useful info on the power status, like battery percentage, remaining time for charging, discharging, total input power, total output power, and amazingly, it even plots it out over time. Right, so this is way more advanced than the simple display from the Shargeek 170, right? And that's why I love it. Compared to many other power banks like the Carbo20k, with 4 dots, you can't precisely tell if your device is being charged at the fastest speed, or is almost dead, or if you're using the wrong cable. So as capacity and wattage get higher and higher, the more and more important it is to have these displays not only for safety, but for people like me with battery anxiety, because I always want to know before I set up how much power is in my power bank so I can plan the rest of my days, where to work, where I need to stop to charge and so on. So you realize I also use this display cable so I know how much is going into my laptop at all times. Yes, I'm OCD like that. So even when it's plugged into a wall adapter, I like to see how everything is working at full capacity. Now these cables from bases do come in 20 watt, 60 watt, 100 watt, and I also think up to 140 watts, so which is one of the main reasons why your gear isn't charging at full speed. Now some clients will buy a cheap 20 watt cable to charge a 140 watt power bank and wonder why it isn't working, then they return the power bank saying it's faulty. The same if you try and use a 20 watt adapter like this, but through a 140 watt cable to charge a 140 watt power bank, it will still be kept at 20 watt because your source is 20 watts. Right, you need a 140 watt adapter, 140 watt cable to make sure everything works at full speed. So that's why I find having displays on the power bank is so important, because as soon as it's less than what is expected, you can troubleshoot it, either the adapter, cable, or device has something off. On the topic of cables, a big shout out to MagTame for sending us these amazing magnetic cables that snap together like this into a coil. Right, you can call it small or call it large, it's up to you. Right, look at that, it just perfectly folds this way. So compared to when I use these bases display cables, they always end up like this. I have to coil it around like this, right, then just stuff it into a bag so you can see how neat it is. Right, this you can call it large or call it small, so this, it just unfolded. So you can call it this way or you can call it smaller, so everything is aligned nicely. Okay, this is the USB-C to USB-C version. They also have USB-A to USB-C, so these are the flat ones. So all of them are braided, so no problem on reliability. So this has made my carry bag way more organized. They do come in very high wattage, so there's no problem pairing this with the P23 to my laptop. By the way, I am using the new Black Ember Citadel R3, my new favorite backpack. So if you guys want to see a review on it, do let me know in the comments down below as well. So other things to note, how fast can it charge back up? Right, the input charging is 110 watts. It goes from 0 to 40 watts in just 19 minutes and another 2 hours to get it to full. But remember, you do need an adapter that's over 110 watts for it to happen, so else you'll be stuck on a slow charging speed. The next big question is, can you take this on airplanes? Yes, it has less than 100 watt hours battery size, so it's safe for carry on the plane. Do not leave it in your check-in bag, it must be carried with you on the plane. Next question is, can you charge Bluetooth headphones and watches? Yes, just double press the button below the screen to enable low current charging mode. You can also charge all mainstream devices like your Nintendo Switch, your ROG if you're into that, and even for videography use like this Juyin 60-watt light, right? Get 2 of these power banks and you have a true portable studio for your outdoor client shoots, right? Can imagine using this for a restaurant when you set up your lights to shoot the various dishes, right? Very, very useful. So that's it, the 2 key things you need for charging laptops: a high output wattage and high rated capacity, which the P23 has, no problem, coupled with the display and professional looks. Right, this is a top pick for me when it comes to charging multiple laptops and gear. But should you buy the P23? Right, if I compare it with the Shargeek, which has been very popular in our lineup, Shargeek holds the advantage in terms of charging speed when there are 2 laptops plugged in. The difference is looks. They are designed for very different types of users. In terms of display though, I prefer the one on the P23 because it is more advanced and plot performance over time. Right, does it matter for charging speed? Actually no, but it does put my OCD battery anxiety at ease. A lower capacity model, if you don't need the smart display, is the cuktech 15. Caps out at 100-watt charging from a single port here, which is still enough for all types of laptops. This is lighter than the much heavier P23. It is thinner as well, but they both have the same very smooth titanium looking aesthetic. Right, but they are not made of titanium, it is some kind of polycarbonate on the front. Right, so these are all for charging laptops. If you take a step back and you only need to charge like your phones, tablets, iPads, that kind of things, and want the smallest possible device with the lightest weight, you can go with the Nitecore Carbo20k or 10k series. So these that Nitecore have made are all from carbon fiber, so they are really light, really small. So if you look at size comparison, this is 20,000 milliampere, this is 20,000 milliampere. Right, look at how small it is. Right, so the difference, sacrifice in weight, this lets you charge laptops. This doesn't. You have to measure to see what you need, but in this video, we're mainly talking about laptops, so sadly Nitecore's power banks cannot make the cut. That's why we're recommending these 2 brands, the cuktech and Shargeek. Both of these are all in stock now at nitecorelights.com, so there is a bulk discount option, so it's perfect if you're buying for your team, your family, your friends. These have sold out before and will sell out again, so order yours today. Once your order is placed, we'll courier everything to your door within a couple of days. Link to order is in the description box below. The Carbo20k, the cables, cuktech 15, cuktech 20, and the Shargeek series. There are 3 Shargeek power banks plus IceMags. Right, so all of those are listed in the description below. As usual, all of them come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and fast free 1-year warranty, so there's no risk at all. That's it. If you'd like to see more videos like this where we help you choose the best gear for your work adventures, subscribe below and I'll see you on the next video. Right, I'm Jay signing out.